This is a 3D rendering of the barn studio construction, the first floor, and all of the blue areas are walls, doors, and windows that will be added with the construction that we're going to do. All the gray is existing, obviously. And we are looking right now at the barn from the driveway entry point. The first thing we're looking at is the control room, which is this structure here. And you can see that it rises about 2 feet above the level of the first floor. And this is where we're going to be cutting out the second floor around the perimeter of this control room with about a 2-inch air gap. The idea being that this control room is a decoupled structure, not being affected by the noise being generated in the live room that will be vibrated up to this roof and to the various areas of structure of the barn. So the second area we're going to look at, and one other thing before we move from this view, this structural wall currently extends all the way across to where the live room will be built, and so this structural wall will have to be removed in this area of the control room initially. Moving on to the barn extension area on the right side, the two blue areas are where we currently have garage bays, and those are going to need to be built out, completed, and insulated. We're going to add a door and 2 windows. Looking at the inside of that structure, we have the light blue wall. It's light blue because we're not actually building this, but the wall needs to be addressed because this used to be the outside wall of the barn, so it still has siding, the shingle siding on it. The shingle siding needs to be removed. The wall needs to be insulated, and then it's going to receive a multiple layer of sheetrock, particle board, soundboard, and sheetrock, again, just like the control room interior. And in discussing the remainder interior of this, and by the way, so this is the stairs and the door and window that are going to be added, cut out from the existing wall. That's the entry point to the control room and the window from the control room. And the control room has its corresponding window and door for that same entry point. So we'll look at that for a moment. And there's the corresponding control room window and door here. And while we're on this angle, to just address the interior 3 walls, 1, 2, and 3 interior of these. Although we discussed that this one is going to be sheetrocked after the shingles are removed, these will have the studs exposed, then a layer of insulation put in between the studs, then burlap stapled to the outside of the studs, so you now will be looking at a completely burlapped 3 walls and ceiling, which receives the same treatment. Then horizontal boards are laid across with about a 1/2 inch spacing between the boards, and that will constitute these 3 walls and the ceiling. Only this wall will be actually sheetrock. Moving on, so we're viewing the back side of the barn right now, and just to note that this door will be added as the main entry point to the recording studio, into the lounge, and then to the remaining of the structure. And this is going to remain just as a facade, but the area behind this probably should be built up for structural and also just to not let the cold air come in. We'll get to that in a minute. So finishing off the build, we have the lounge area. This is just a closet with a very thin wall. There's going to be some shelving units behind it. We have sliding doors that will be put in here. And this is the bathroom area where we're going to have an entryway for the sink and then a separate entry into the toilet area. And the plumbing will be run through the grass to the entry point of the building, and will just have to be plumbed in into the bathroom. And regarding possible insulation that needs to be done, the control room area will be insulated as part of its construction, and therefore nothing surrounding the control room needs to be insulated. It will be its own environment in here. So the only area potentially that we have to do is going to be the perimeter outside area of the lounge and bathroom, which is here, up to where it meets with the control room. So this area will probably have to be insulated because this area is subject to the outside temperatures. And the ceiling also needs to be redone and re-insulated. And that's the big picture here.